coming to you from my bedroom with really bad lighting and really bad background noise, but unfortunately that's just my only option today. However, it puts me a lot closer to my perfume collection, and today's video is about some cool weather samples that I have acquired from micro perfumes. I didn't get too many, I just got a couple that I have had my eye on for a very long time. They looked interesting, they looked different, or they were just really popular and I wanted to see what the big deal was. So as usual, I'm gonna do a couple little patches just down my arms and give a little smell and just tell you what I think. And again, this is coming from somebody who is not paid. Nobody gives me anything. There is no exchange. There is no nothing. Like, I buy this with my own money. It is my own sample, and I will talk shit about something if I think it's gross. So first up, Herrera Privée. I don't know. I got this because, geez, I already got some on my finger just trying to open the top. I got this because the caviar note looked really intriguing. It also had vanilla, and I was like, how are they gonna pull off a leathery vanilla with caviar? And like, I like salty stuff, you know, I like womanity with the caviar notes. I like salty flower, that's one of my favorites, with that heavy salt note. Anything with a salty, aquatic, marine, caviar note, stuff like that, I'm into it. I really like it. There's always a risk that it's gonna smell gross, so of course I figured the tiniest little sample would be the best way to experiment before I commit to buying a larger size. But also, as you all know, I'm very broke, although hopefully not broke for long. I just started teaching like 13 ballet classes a week now that the school year has started, so maybe I'll be able to splurge a little bit more. But anyway, here we go. So I get hit with the leather, and there is something like a tiny bit powdery in there. It's also woody. I don't think there is amber in this fragrance, but it does somehow give me like an amber vibe. Like, I noticed that like amber in combination with certain woods or even certain florals tends to shoot straight up my sinuses. Some people refer to that as like a pinchy feeling. It's just like, it goes all the way up. Maybe heady is also a way to describe it. And I do get a little bit of the sweetness, and I do get a little bit of the salt, but I would not say, it's not a marine salt. I don't really think it's caviar. Like, there is something there. There is something slightly briny there, but I would not guess that it is caviar. That being said, it smells like how the bottle looks. Like, when I smell this, I am imagining like being a really rich person going to like a gala, like an American Ballet Theater gala in Lincoln Center, where there's like velvet ropes and velvet cushy seats in the theater. You know, it smells very velvety, it smells very expensive. It smells like a fancy dress and a fancy perfume surrounded by leathery, powdery, like expensive notes. It's like a lobby full of rich people drinking champagne at a gala. That's really what it reminds me of. I have been in Lincoln Center, I have seen many ballets, but I've never been rich enough to like attend galas or fundraisers or opening nights or, you know, special private performances for the donors, things like that. I don't know anything about that stuff, but it does smell like rich, older people attending a performance at a theater. So I would say it's a little bit mature for me, even though it's weird. I like it. I don't love it, but I like it. And I feel like this is very specific, you know, like this is meant for specific occasions. I don't think this is like an everyday scent unless you happen to be a mature, rich lady. Or man. Like, I think the right man could pull this off, because there is enough like powderiness to it that it just kind of smells clean. And I don't know if powdery is one of the main accords, but like I'm getting powdery from this. Okay, so let's roll that down so that it doesn't interfere with the next little patch that we got. What is this? By Kilian, Love, Don't Be Shy. I see that this is popular. I always see people talking about By Kilian anything. Oh, I got some on my clothes. This is supposed to be a gourmand, like marshmallowy, sugary, sweet. All of these experiences could be much different with like a proper atomizer or like a spray. You know, sometimes I feel like you miss out on the top notes when you don't have an atomizer. I feel like it needs to like mix with the air to get all those top notes in there. So, you know, take all of this with a grain of salt. All right, so right off the bat, it smells like Fruity Pebbles or Fruit Loops. A very fruity, like sugar frosted cereal kind of vibe. But there's also something in there that reminds me of like children's chewable Tylenol. Like, you know, like the grape flavored chewable Tylenol or the strawberry flavored chewable Tylenol, where it has like a kind of powdery, astringent medicinal aftertaste. Like, it's very like on the roof of my mouth, if that makes sense. Whenever I take acetaminophen, I get a really weird, like ozone-y, almost like ammonia-y kind of smell in my nose like the rest of the day. Like whenever I'm taking acetaminophen and my body metabolizes it, like I smell it in my nose for the whole rest of the day. So whatever notes that they have put in here to make it powdery, it's reading more as like talky, ozone-y, like astringent kind of smell. That's kind of all I'm getting so far. If memory serves, the notes pyramid looked really interesting. You know, like top notes I think were something like pepper, coriander, bergamot, and like I said, you know, I might be missing those because I don't have an atomizer, but you know, there's nothing to it. Like the way I saw people describing this, especially with bass notes of like caramel and like civet and, you know, like heavier stuff, I was imagining that there would be more bite to this fragrance. You know, I was imagining it would be more like gummy, more like syrupy, like something I could sink my teeth into. You know, like winter gourmands, you expect them to be heavy and syrupy, and this is, there's nothing wet about this. I feel like the rose and the jasmine are like really obfuscated by that like fermenty orange blossom smell and like the powdery iris. So it's like, I just feel like I'm not getting the full spectrum of notes, you know, that went into this. I just feel like whatever and it's already fading. So longevity is not great either. And considering how expensive this is, I think it runs over $200 a bottle. Like, no thank you. It's just sweet. It smells like I dipped my arm in a jar of jelly beans yesterday. You know, it doesn't project. It does not project. And it's already fading, and it hasn't really changed. It kind of, I mean, granted, I've only been sniffing my arm for like 5 minutes, but it's very linear. Like, it hasn't changed at all. Just okay. It's like, it's a pleasant sweet smell if you like sweet stuff, but like, for the price, for the hype, no. No. Another by Kilian. This is Angel's Share. I did already sample this one a little bit, and I know that I actually do like this. This is such a great fall fragrance, although I think if you look on Fragrantica, it looks like it's mostly a winter. People are saying, oh, it's better in cold weather rather than just medium cold weather. So maybe like 6 months ago, I really wanted to smell like an apple pie, and I was asking or just looking looking around to see like, oh, what's a good apple pie fragrance if I want to smell like apple pie. And so many people were saying angel share, but when you look at the notes, there's no apple. There's nothing really that would make it fruity, but it does actually smell fruity. It smells like baked apples, red apples, and cinnamon, and it's kind of gooey and caramelly and a little bit boozy, and it's not too spicy, thankfully, because I don't like when things are too spicy. Like, I'm very, very sensitive to spices, anything peppery, anything clovey, anything like that. So, you know, I was worried that, oh, this is just gonna be like boozy, spicy, tobacco-y, it's gonna smell masculine. But it really doesn't. It really just smells like a really, really good, flavorful, aromatic, warm apple strudel that just came out of the oven. This one is really great, and I hate to say it, just the smell of it, it projects very well, and it does last a while. I hate to say it, it might actually be worth the price if I had the money. If I had the disposable income to buy a full bottle for myself, I just might. It is really pleasant. Scandal. So I see people, you know, recommending it for like a sexy gourmand. I think it's supposed to predominantly smell like honey. People are just like, oh, it's so great, it's so good, it's so intoxicating, blah blah blah. Right out of the bottle, I don't get honey. To me, this is not honey. I smell floral. It's a little alcohol-y, like it's a little ethanol-y, like I'm kind of getting notes of like a scented nail polish remover. It's kind of soapy. But for some reason, like recently, and I've never had COVID, so I don't know what the reason would be for this, but I feel like recently everything I smell, or almost everything that I smell, has been giving me like a soapy, waxy, like aldehyde kind of vibe, even when it's not listed in the notes or the main accords. So like, this is supposed to be predominantly honey, but I'm smelling predominantly like florals and waxy soaps. It smells white floral. It smells like jasmine. Is there jasmine in here? I don't even remember, honestly. There's a little bit of like a sting at the bottom, which tells me there might be patchouli in here. This smells like a more indolic version of Flowerbomb. I guess it's starting to get a little bit sweeter over time, but it's not what I expect. Like when I read the notes and I read the perfume pyramid and the main accords, this is just not what I expect. It's not sweet, it's not sticky, it's not fruity, it's not really gourmand, it's just like florals. Like I just get floral with this. I don't know what the cost for a full bottle is, but even if it were a cheap price for a full bottle, probably would not buy it. This just smells like so many other things that I already have. While we are on the topic of things that smell floral and soapy, I got Champaca Absolute. I don't know what Champaca smells like. Guess we gotta do the other arm now. It projects. At first it smells like, it's very alcohol-y, so maybe I'm just smelling the alcohol that projects at first. But first whiff is fruity and boozy. No, up close it smells like soap. It smells like floral soap. It might have the tiniest bit of like a banana peel, like a green banana, not a ripe banana. It has a little bit of like, you know, like that aldehyde, like up here, like roof of the mouth, not up in the sinuses like I get with indolic heady ambers and jasmine and stuff. This is like roof of the mouth. And like, is there rose in there? It smells a little rosy, or like some kind of like pink floral. And wood, not like not a wet wood, not a rotting wood, not an earthy, dirty wood, but like a dry wood. I know my descriptions make no sense, I'm sorry. It's okay, it's just like nondescript. Like, it smells good, but it doesn't smell special. Like, it smells clean, it smells mature, but not in like the age type of mature. It smells like you're a functional adult that has your shit together, mature. You know, like even a young person could wear this and smell mature. This just smells like generic, clean, floral. I don't know, there's nothing special about it, or maybe it's just because like I don't know enough about Champaca to know what I'm smelling. I don't think this is appropriate for fall. You know, on Fragrantica, this is voted as a cool weather fragrance, like fall, I think autumn, but like this smells kind of springtimey to me, and I feel like it could also lean a little bit summery, like cool summer, not stinking hot, humid summer. I don't think this would smell very good once it got very humid and sticky and sweaty. Like, I don't think this would vibe well with sweat. But I do think that heat, a little bit of heat and sunshine would not detract from this. I feel like this fragrance could do very well in warmth and sunshine. I don't think this is a cool weather fragrance. It doesn't smell like a cool weather fragrance to me. It also kind of smells a little bit like bathroom cleaner or like bathroom air freshener, like an aerosol or something. It's just really cleanery to me, with like the tiniest 5% hint of like fruit and wood, but mostly clean floral. Almost an aquatic floral, which some of you might be watching and be like, what are you talking about? But like it's almost like an aquatic, it's almost like an aquatic floral neroli. I don't think there's neroli in it, but it reminds me of like some neroli fragrances that I've smelled. Just okay, would not buy a full bottle. Nina Ricci, L'Extase. I don't know what that means. Is that supposed to be like ecstasy, extas, L'Extase? I don't know, whatever. So I think I got this because it looked like rosy and cherry-y, and at the time I was trying to get like rosy cherry notes because I had gotten a small bottle of Gloria and that had like a cherry amaretto thing going on with it, and I was just starting to get into like rosy cherry fragrances. It was just like, oh, you know, I can get a tiny little sample and it has some of the notes that I've been interested in, so why not? You know, this was really just like a why not fragrance. I can't say that I've seen a lot of people talk about it. I can't say that it looks super popular. I can't even say that it looks super unique. I just wanted to experience it. Sometimes I see fragrances that are just like nobody would think to smell them, but it's like I want to smell them just because, like, I don't know, sometimes I just find something weird and I want to smell it. Do I want a whole bottle? No, I just want to smell it. I want to smell all the things. If you look on my Fragrantica profile, when you look at the perfumes that I want, it's like 3 times the amount of what I already have. And it's not even that I want the full bottle. I just want to smell it. Like, I say I want it, and all that means is I want to smell it once before I die. So yeah, this is also, it's rosy and it's kind of spicy, it's kind of peppery, but it is still somehow giving me like a soapy vibe. Like, everything has been smelling soapy to me lately. It has the tiniest bit of like boozy spiciness in there. If I had to compare it to something that I've already tried, maybe Angel's Share, but without the sweetness and without the fruitiness of it. Like, this is not sweet. It's spicy, it's cozy, it's warm, it's ambery, it's floral, but it's not sweet. And it smells a little mature for me. There might be some kind of white floral in there that we usually associate with like older ladies. Would not wear this every day. I would probably save this for an occasion in which there would be like sitting around a fireplace or like sitting at a dinner table, maybe like Thanksgiving. This kind of reminds me of like Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas dinner. You're sitting around the dining room table with like the fancy tablecloth, and like somebody has the candles, and it's like somewhat dim lighting, and it's just kind of like you're sitting on the couch digesting, and you're feeling kind of like sleepy, like a little bit of like a food coma thing going on. So like this does remind me of like kind of holiday vibes. Not quite sweet enough to be Christmas, because I always associate Christmas with like cookies and like, you know, candies and stuff like that. Yeah, I would wear this on Thanksgiving. This reminds me of like a fancy Thanksgiving party. Okay, last one, and this is actually my favorite of the bunch. Flowerbomb Nectar. Now, when you first smell it, it might be different with an atomizer. I have to keep saying this. It might be different with an atomizer, but when I first opened this, the first whiff of this is that awful, awful ethyl maltol note that I hate. Reminds me of Terry Mugler Angel. Reminds me of La Vie est Belle. I hate that ethyl maltol opening note. It's just like cough syrup, medicinal, licorice-y, like all the things that I hate. Nasty, nasty, nasty. But it doesn't last. It fades pretty quickly, so you kind of have to give it a chance. Maybe it lasts longer on people when they have the spray, but with this little wand applicator, it's just like, that was the first thing that hit me, but thankfully it faded, because otherwise I would not wear this. It is sweet, it is gourmand, but I don't think it is heavy and sticky. This is somehow cooler and a little bit lighter than Flowerbomb, the OG Flowerbomb. It is not as fruity as Ruby Orchid. People say this smells exactly like Ruby Orchid, and granted, I only smelled Ruby Orchid once in a store on just a strip of paper, so it's not that fresh in my memory, but I remember Ruby Orchid being quite fruity and almost reminding me a little bit of like Angel Nova. You know, like it smelled pink. It smelled like a berry, like a raspberry or something. Like Ruby Orchid was fruity to me. And when you read the notes in the perfume pyramid, you think this is going to be a hot mess express. There's like peppery osmanthus, there's sulfury gunpowder, there's some kind of like pissy indolic flower in there that you would think would make it turn really sour. But this is like really light, and it somehow, in a very weird way, reminds me of Replica Coffee Break. Not in the notes themselves, but in the main accords. Like, it is both aromatic and floral and cool spicy and somehow like sweet and fluffy on top, but there is still somehow like a almost nutty, cozy something in the base note. It is actually somehow one of my favorites. Like, if I had money, I would buy a full bottle of this because it stands out. It's like different. Like, yes, it's a sweet patchouli gourmand, but there is just something in there that makes it like stand out a little bit. And in a weird way, I think it's more approachable than OG Flowerbomb. It's just really different. Like, out of all the things that I've smelled and out of all the samples that I got and out of all the like cool weather things that I've been experimenting with, this is the only one that was really like, wow, this is different. And like, for some people, it's bad different. But for me, this is like good different. This is like cool different. Like, I don't know. I like this. But, you know, I'm weird. I like weird stuff. So This is my favorite so far. Would buy a full bottle. I know some people hate it. I'm not expecting to change anybody's minds if you already have an opinion on this, but like, especially since we're going into cool weather, at least where I live, you know, it's September, we're going to be going into colder fall weather. This might be my next big bottle purchase. That's how much I actually like it. Like this just got bumped up to like the top of my list when I allow myself to like splurge on a big bottle. Like this is, I want one. So that's it for today. I'm sure at some point I will accumulate more things to talk about and do reviews and do videos, not paid, not sponsored, my honest opinion. I really have my eye on the Zoologist Sweet and Floral sample set, particularly cow. For some reason, I've really been wanting to try cow. Well, I can tell you what the reason is. I live out in the middle of like farmland. When we're driving through the valley and pass a dairy farm, you can smell milk in the air. Like you can tell when you're passing a dairy farm, you do smell the milk in the air. And I have been on farms. My aunt used to have a small farm and she had a couple of her own cows. And there is a smell, there is a particular smell that you get from a cow, you know, a cow that is lactating. There is a very particular smell that you get from a cow. And I'm really curious, like, I really want cow, but you know, as I said, I want to smell all the things, so I might as well just get the whole sample set while I'm at it. So we'll see. If you like my videos, stay tuned for the next one, and I will smell you later.